Hello, OYT South people. If you don't know me, I'm Susanna and I'm a volunteer second mate on board Prolific. Over the last couple of months, I've started making face masks for people in my local area who are vulnerable or elderly, who maybe can't make their own, so they can still go to the shops if they need to and things like that. I've been raising money for Ocean Youth Trust South through doing this, and I've had a number of requests for people asking me what I do and how they can make their own. So this is my tutorial. First thing to say is that I am not a particularly great sewer, or I don't have much expertise. So if you know how to sew already and have your own face mask pattern, go with that. I am sure you probably know more than I do. I'm just trying my best with a little expertise and a lot of Googling things from the internet. So full disclaimers aside, let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is choose the fabric you're going to make your face mask out of. What you want to use is a cotton, so it's quite breathable, you can breathe through it, but that's still going to protect you. The government recommend things like old t-shirts or pillowcases, all that kind of thing will be cotton. At the moment I've got some rather nice purple flowered fabric that my sister has recommended for the face mask I'm currently going to make her. So choose your fabric, step number one. The next thing you want to do is fold it in half, like so. So you've got a nice fold down the middle, and you want to have a pattern. The pattern looks a bit like this, and it will there'll be a link to it somewhere around the video, so you can print out your own. Once you have the pattern, this is just for an average medium, which tends to fit most adults. There's also smaller ones for children and large ones for people with particularly large faces, but a medium one fits most adults. There's a marker on the medium, I don't know if you can see, that along this side it says place on fold. So what you want to do is you put that side down onto your fold in the fabric, like that. And then what we're going to do is just pin that onto the fabric so that it's not going to go anywhere. So once that has been pinned onto your fabric with the fold line placed along the fold of your fabric, the next thing you're going to want to do is cut around the outside. You don't want to cut along the fold, so we're just going to cut around the outside of the fabric. Okay, once you have cut around your fabric, you can now take the pins back out and remove your pattern. And then you should have something that looks a bit like a W, almost. So this will be your face mask in a while. That's the plan. Now you want to do a second one of these so that you have two layers to your face mask. And if you want it to be a particularly thick one, or if your fabric is particularly thin, you might want to do a third. So we're going to repeat the same process all over again. To make it easy to see, I'm going to be using a different type of fabric, and we'll cut around. We'll make the fold just like before, here, and then we're going to place the fold marker of the pattern onto the fold. We'll pin it on, and then we'll cut around it just like we've just done. I've now got the second W, which will then form the back of the face mask. So we're almost ready to put the two parts together, but before that we need to do one small bit of sewing. So if you fold it back in half, we are going to want to sew along this curved line down here. And that will create a nice curved edge to the face mask that goes from above the nose right the way down and under the chin. So that's why we want to create this we sew along this curved edge here. But to do this, you need to make sure that the fabric might have a front and a back to the fabric, and the pattern is often fainter on the back. So you want to fold it so that the back is on the outside and the front is sandwiched on the inside. So what we're just going to do is sew along this curved line on both of our W's. And I'm just going to trim off the ends left behind by the thread. If you don't have a sewing machine, it is perfectly okay to just to hand sew it, just with a needle and thread, but a sewing machine does tend to make things quicker. So here's my first one. I've sewn along this curved line. You want to give a few millimeters between the edge and where you sew, just so that you, if it starts to fray a bit, it will still be fine and it's not going to start coming apart. So that's one. I'm now going to fold the second in half with the nice side in the middle and the side we don't want to see on top. And then it's the same again, I'm just going to sew along this curved line. And again, I'm just going to trim the ends of the thread so that we've not got super long tails getting in the way. Okay, and there's our second one sewn up along this line. So now what you can do, if you turn it inside out, we're starting to get something that looks a bit like a face mask. Which is rather good. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to get the two pieces together. Or if you've got three, probably the easiest way is going to be to put two next to each other and then treat it like one piece. So the way we're going to do this is we have the side we like and the side that we want to be hidden in the final mask. So the side that we want to have hidden needs to be on the outside now, because we're later going to turn this whole thing inside out. So what I'm going to do is I put this one with the hidden side towards the ground. Let's just turn it inside out, there we go. Hidden side towards the table. And then this one with the hidden side up, put it down on top. So what we've effectively done is sandwiched the nice sides in the middle here, with the hidden side on the bottom and top. So we're going to sew along both long sides of the fabric. So here we are, we've just sewn up both long sides of the face mask. So the next thing we can do is to turn it inside out, a bit like you would a sock that's got the one way around. You just pull it up, pull it all through. And now we've got the rough size and shape of what our face mask is going to look like. We've got the front, which is going to be about this size. We've also got the back. If you pop the nose compartment through, you can see that it's actually reversible. So now all we need to think about are the ties that secure it to the head. Now you can do various things with this. If you want to include elastic, you can put elastic through the end and have it attach around your ears on both sides. This is not what I prefer. I find it weirdly pulls your ears forwards. So there's that as an option. Another option might be to find the length of elastic that goes around your head, and so attach elastic to both sides of this. If you want to experiment and try that, go ahead. What I prefer, and what I think is easiest to do, is just to attach some fabric ties to the end of this that we can then use to tie behind the head. So I'm going to use a piece of bias binding tape. It's rather difficult to get elastic and things at the moment, so this seems to be the best alternative. It's effectively a strip of cotton fabric. I've cut a piece about the length of my arm, and it's better to err on the longer side than the shorter, because you can always cut it off if your ties are too long to hold on to your head. So yes, a length about as long as your arm. If you happen to have abnormally long limbs, shout out to Andy Roycey, then perhaps you might want to cut it a bit shorter than that. But as a good estimate, we're going to have a piece this long. This is 2 centimetres wide, which is a bit excessive just for a tie around your head. So I'm just going to cut it down the middle in half. If you've got a thinner tape, don't bother cutting it in half, just cut 2 lengths instead. So I'm going to cut this down the middle. Okay, so now we have 2 long ties. These are going to go at the top of the mask and tie it around your face. You're now going to need another 2 for the bottom. So we're going to get another length the same and do that all over again. So we've now got our 4 long ties to go 2 on each side of the face mask. Now, if you have a look at the face mask, you've got a bit of a raw edge here where it's going to fray. So what we want to do is we want to tuck this in. So just start to tuck it away inside the face mask like this. So both sides have a nice clean fold at the edge here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the end of the green into the centre of the mask here. And then we'll do that again with a second one into the mask, like that. And what we're going to do now is just sew along the side here to fix them both into place. And here we are with 2 of the threads coming from the inside, and I've just sewn down the edge there. It's not incredibly neat, but it's going to do the job, which is what I wanted. We're now going to repeat the whole process with the other side and the next 2. So we're going to fold the edge in like that to get a nice folded edge here. We're going to insert the 2 green ties. Like that. And then we're just going to sew along the edge here to keep everything in place. And here we are with a lovely face mask that ties around the head, and it can be worn like this. So here we have a face mask. You should be tying it tight enough at the top that it's tight along the sides of your cheeks here and then up over your nose. And you should be tying it tight enough behind your neck that it's tight along the bottom of your chin here. Mine looks a bit gapy because it's my face is slightly smaller. And so this dangles down below the bottom of my chin. But there along the bottom of my chin, it's tight. And at the back, I've tied my 2 bows here and down here behind my neck to hold it all in place. And now I would be ready to go to the shops or whatever as required. So here you go, here has been the face mask tutorial. I hope you found this helpful. If you do have any questions, please do get in touch. I'm available to contact via Facebook. If you're a young person, you may need to go through the OYT page because I can't have direct contact with you for safeguarding reasons. But do please get in touch and they'll forward any questions you have onto me and I'll be able to help you. If you'd like to help fundraise for Ocean Youth Trust, feel free to make your own masks for people in your area, or to donate to my fundraising page, which is www.justgiving.com/fundraising/Susanna-Painter. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this tutorial, and I hope you found it helpful. So bye for now, and I'll see you soon.